He must have ordered the kanji by now. Yeah, I definitely look feverish enough. Perfect. The next morning, I arrived at work earlier than usual. I don't know why, but I barely slept. My heart had been racing all night for some reason. The moment I stepped into the office, my eyes went straight to Seojun's desk. But it was empty. Thinking about it, Seojun had always been somewhere within my line of sight. Seeing him there had always felt natural, almost like he was supposed to be there. So seeing his empty desk made the entire office feel strangely unfamiliar. I couldn't really explain why. It was just a strange feeling. Maybe I was simply too early today, I told myself, brushing it off. In my head, I was already rehearsing what I would say. When Seojun gets here, I'll casually ask him to grab a drink after work. It sounded simple enough. But one by one, people started arriving. And Seojun never showed up. I wondered if he had gone on a business trip or something. That was when my assistant manager glanced over at me and chuckled. "You're like a meerkat right now. Who are you looking for?" Even after work officially started, Seojun's seat remained empty. For some reason, I felt like a balloon that had suddenly lost all its air. Maybe it was because I had finally gathered the courage to ask him out for a drink. And now I didn't even get the chance. I must have been staring into space because my manager suddenly tapped me on the shoulder. Seojun called in sick today. By the way, my assistant manager and my manager are actually dating. They're basically the office's unofficial gay couple. Everyone knows it. He lives alone, doesn't he? I hope he's okay. He's not the kind of person who would miss work unless he was really sick. Yoon, why don't you check on him after work? You two join the company together. He'd probably feel more comfortable with you than anyone else. Thinking about it, they were right. Seojun and I were the same age, and we joined the company on the same day. If anyone could make him feel a little less uncomfortable, it was probably me. Besides, he had helped me so many times before. So after work, I decided to stop by his place and bring him some kanji. I sent him a message first, just in case. He simply replied with his address and told me to come over. And that was when I almost stopped breathing. You know that famous landmark building near our office? The one everyone recognizes? Seojun lived in the penthouse. Seriously, what kind of person was he? He was handsome, successful, and apparently incredibly wealthy too. Sometimes life really does feel unfair. But the moment the door opened, thud, Seojun collapsed straight into my arms. I almost fell over with him, but somehow I managed to protect the kanji until the very end. Honestly, that alone felt like an achievement. His face was burning red, and he was covered in sweat. One look at him and I knew this wasn't just a little cold. "Thanks for coming." The sound of his voice honestly broke my heart. I guess even people who always seem perfect become helpless when they're sick. His apartment was enormous but strangely quiet. It felt empty, and somehow it looked like he had been sleeping on the living room sofa instead of his own bed. I asked him where it hurt. Instead of answering, he reached out and took my hand and gently placed it against his neck. I froze. Before I could even react, and my hand was resting against his throat. I figured his fever must have made him a little out of it. Seeing him like this only made me worry more. But still, don't people usually check someone's temperature by touching their forehead? That was definitely a first for me. I had never had someone guide my hand to their Adam's apple and collarbone just because they had a fever.